Hey guys, so here's the setup on JASMY. The way I'm, obviously this chart is wrecked, right? But the way I'm sizing it up right now is this. So you can see there's a huge gaping imbalance right here on the monthly, right? You could push it into the weekly, you could see it, it's pretty much the same. And if you look at the weekly flow, they took the external high. So if you just size it up here, you can see they took the external high and they dropped it into discount in this weekly imbalance. We've now rebalanced more than half on the weekly right there. So I would say that's a pretty proper rebalance of the zone. And then the way I would size up the daily structure, start with the weekly. You could see there's a bit of a pivot here, and then here it tries to hold, but then here it inverts, and then here again it tries to hold, and now we're working on reclaim. So that weekly structure should be visible on the daily. If we push it into the daily, it's very obvious. You could see that pivot come in right here. Here it tried to hold structure after a deviation, broke down, and then inverted it into resistance right there. Moving to our local structure, you could see this was kind of like a Wyckoff fake low, and then we flushed the low. And right now, if you zoom in on the daily, there's like a bit of a hammer candle forming. This is kind of a tough spot to enter, right? Because technically in the daily dealing range, you're still in discount, but within the local intraday range, this is in pretty steep premium, right? So it's still risky if you're entering on a lower time frame. But the idea is, if this does get reclaimed by the end of today, let's say we do close the candle above and the wick is at least half the size of the candle, showing that there's a lot of buyer strength in that range trying to reclaim that low, then this could mark up pretty quick. And the safer entry would be maybe a smaller part of your position here, and then if it comes back to retest, then add once you see strength and it starts moving up. So you could take part of your position early here just so you have exposure, and then when it does reclaim, you can enter with more size. So the idea is, here on the daily, that's starting to look a bit like a reclaim. And if we zoom out, this is your liquidity. It's really clean. So in the intraday range from here down to here, you could see all this failed swings on the way down. That's going to be your target into the daily imbalance right there. On the higher time frame, from this high to that low, this isn't even in premium yet, right? So if we just kind of map out high to low, you can see it's not even at 50% of the dealing range. So it's possible it could go into these equal highs, but the point is you want to be positioned somewhere down here for these failed swings, because this is low resistance. It's called low resistance liquidity, right? So there's nothing stopping price once it starts building momentum in the range. I mean, there's some supply here, but above that, you could see all these failed swings are very close, so it would be an easy target to hit. Above that, you have more failed swings to target, and then ultimately it's part of a market maker model, not the cleanest one, just because you could see the impulses are very random here, and then this deviation to the downside, this is more structured right here, but this would be in the weekly internal range. So this is where you look for a buy program to start, and if that is where it started, like half the weekly internal range was mitigated, you're normally going to be targeting the original consolidation up here. So this is going to be like a very ambitious target. I do see some equal highs in the range in premium here that you could target, and then the obvious target will be into this liquidity arc and this daily imbalance. So pretty decent. When you zoom out, it's still nothing like compared to where price was before it collapsed, right? But again, a lot of these new tokens, they launch and then just total VC dumpage, right? So I'm not saying this is going to make new highs, but when it does get a wave, it moves pretty aggressively. So ideally, you want to be positioned. All right, that's JASMY.